The 72nd Annual National Security Forum was held from May 5th through May 7th at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama, with civilian leaders arriving on Monday, May 4th. Despite being briefed ahead of our trips, no one was entirely sure what to expect. In fact, I had some concern that the discussions might become political. However, I could not have been more wrong. I left with a deep appreciation for the extraordinary caliber of leaders within our military, intelligent, disciplined, critical thinkers who approach decisions through strategy, experience, and national security interests rather than political affiliation. Civilians were nominated and selected from 34 states and 3 allied nations, the United Kingdom, Germany, and Italy. Each participant was paired with a sponsor officer nearing completion of the Air War College's rigorous 10-month leadership program. Many were preparing to graduate and move on to new assignments. My assigned officer was Lieutenant Colonel Jason Bindewald, who departs for the Pentagon this week. The National Security Forum is Air University's premier outreach event focused on how the United States protects its interests, strengthens its competitive advantage, and navigates an increasingly complex global security environment. Each morning session was held in the college's large lecture hall alongside more than 200 senior military officers from the United States and partner nations. This year's 87 civilian leaders were divided into seminar groups for more in-depth discussions with military leadership following each lecture. My group included colonels from the Air Force, Marines, and Army, several professors, and 5 civilians. I felt especially honored to participate alongside Ukrainian, Swedish, and Indonesian colonels. While each was remarkably humble, I was told that some of these international officers could one day lead their nation's entire Air Force. Another seminar group I socialized with included an Italian colonel who flew fighter jets. During our opening morning, we heard remarks from Air War College leadership, followed by a keynote address from Mr. Edwin H. Oshiba, Director of Administration and Manpower for the Secretary of the Air Force. Over the following days, we explored topics involving Russia, China, Ukraine, and emerging issues in the Arctic region. On the final day, we attended a seminar led by an Air War College professor whom I would best describe as a futurist. Several officers who had previously attended his full presentation referred to it as a Halloween program, covering subjects ranging from solar flares and climate change to peer adversaries and future warfare. These officers had spent more than 10 months studying such topics, and our seminars provided them with valuable civilian perspectives. The academic sessions were balanced with a visit to the flight line, where we viewed aircraft up close alongside their pilots, ranging from special operations platforms to fighter jets, including the F-16, F-35, and F-22. We were also treated to an F-22 Raptor aerial demonstration, which was truly awesome. Having recently attended Wings Over Solano at Travis Air Force Base, I did not expect to be particularly impressed, but once again, I was incorrect. Each day brought new discussions and spirited debate. Our group explored topics ranging from how wars may be fought in the future to how civilians and air wings can work more effectively together. On the final day, the Air Force capstone address was delivered by General Kenneth S. Wilsbach, Chief of Staff of the Air Force. During the lecture hall presentations, military leaders, including him, responded to probing questions from both officers and civilians, occasionally pausing to carefully consider whether portions of their responses may be classified. Our experience concluded in the war gaming room, which I can only describe as risk on steroids, with scenarios that account for satellite communications and the movement of aircraft and what they call boats, which are battleships. Immediately following, each attendee received an Air War College certificate and challenge coin. Fortunately, Eric Fierro, Executive Director of Travis Air Force Base, and Zen Hunter Ishikawa, U.S. Air Force Civic Leader, had prepared me for that moment, and I had challenge coins produced featuring Ria Vista's new branding. I presented coins to each officer along with several of my fellow civilian participants. Later that evening, following a celebratory dinner, we walked to Montgomery's well-known Air Force gathering spot, the Aviator Bar, where I presented a coin to Dr. Mark Anarumo, Deputy Director of the Air War College. I was deeply honored when he reciprocated with one of his own challenge coins from the time serving as Vice Commander of the 39th Air Base Wing in Turkey during operations against ISIS. Finally, I would be remiss if I did not mention the personal connections formed with civilians from across our entire country. I'm deeply honored and grateful to have been nominated by Eric Fierro, and thankful to those who ultimately selected me to participate.